There is a level of discipline that doesn't inspire people. It unsettles them. Not because it's loud, not because it's aggressive, but because it's silent, predictable, and impossible to break. You've seen it before. That one person who doesn't hype themselves up, doesn't post motivation quotes, doesn't announce new goals every Monday. They just show up. Every day, same time, same intensity. And it makes people uncomfortable. Because deep down, everyone knows something terrifying. If they can do it, then excuses stop working. This is not the discipline you learn from productivity videos. This is not hustle culture. This is not motivation. This is the kind of discipline that removes choice. And it comes from Japan. But before we go there, let's talk about why most people fail, even smart ones. The illusion of willpower. Most people believe discipline is about strength. Be stronger, push harder, want it badly enough. That idea destroys more lives than laziness ever could. Because willpower is a finite resource. By the time you wake up, your brain has already made thousands of decisions. What to wear, what to eat, what to ignore, what to respond to. Every decision drains energy. So when people say, "I just didn't feel like it today," what they really mean is, "My brain was already exhausted before I even tried." And here's the brutal truth. The disciplined people you admire are not stronger than you. They've just designed their lives so strength is no longer required. That's the first lie you need to let die. Why consistency feels impossible. Think about your past attempts. Gym, reading, meditation, learning a skill. It always starts the same way. Day 1, motivation. Day 3, negotiation. Day 7, resistance. Day 14, silence. Not because you're weak, but because your brain is doing exactly what it evolved to do. Your brain's primary job is not growth, it's survival. Anything new is interpreted as a threat. Anything uncomfortable is flagged as danger. So every habit you try to build triggers an internal debate. Skip today. Tomorrow is fine. One day doesn't matter. And that single sentence, "one day doesn't matter," is where everything collapses. Because discipline doesn't die dramatically, it dies quietly. One skipped day at a time. The Japanese answer to human weakness. Centuries ago, Zen monks faced the same problem. Cold temples, hunger, illness, war, natural disasters. Yet their practice continued without interruption. Not for weeks, not for years, for centuries. No streaks, no resets, no starting again on Monday. So the question isn't, how were they so motivated? The real question is, what did they remove that you're still carrying? The answer is terrifyingly simple. They removed choice. The discipline that removes choice. In Zen philosophy, there is a concept called Gyōji. It roughly translates to practice that continues by itself. Read that again. Not practice that requires effort. Not practice that depends on mood. Practice that continues automatically. In certain Japanese temples, a bell rings at the same time every morning. It has rung at that exact time for hundreds of years. And when it rings, monks get up. Not because they feel like it, not because they're inspired, but because there is no alternative. The question, "Should I do it today?" does not exist in their minds. And that's where modern discipline collapses. Because your entire life is built around options. Options are the enemy. Choice feels like freedom, but psychologically, choice is a burden. Every option opens the door to negotiation. Morning or evening, today or tomorrow, full effort or half. Each question gives your old habits a way back in. Japanese discipline doesn't fight resistance, it starves it, by eliminating options completely. A man who couldn't stay consistent. Let me tell you about a man named Elias. He wasn't lazy, he wasn't stupid. He was highly successful on paper, but his private life was chaos. He could never maintain a habit longer than 2 weeks, not because he forgot, but because he thought. Every morning started with internal debates, and every debate ended the same way. I'll do it later. Until one night, exhausted by his own patterns, he came across a translated text from a Japanese Zen master. One sentence changed everything. A decision repeated daily is not discipline. A decision made once and obeyed forever is. That sentence destroyed his old approach. The first rule: decide once. Elias stopped setting goals. Instead, he made declarations. Not private promises, public identity statements. He didn't say, "I will try to wake up early." He said, "I am a person who wakes up at 5 a.m., no exceptions." No timelines, no motivation, no flexibility. That scared him, and that fear was the point. Because flexibility is where discipline goes to die.
Why fear is actually a tool. Modern self-help avoids fear. Zen discipline uses it. Not fear of pain, fear of inconsistency, fear of becoming unreliable to yourself. Once Elias declared his rule publicly, something shifted. Skipping didn't feel like rest anymore. It felt like identity collapse, and that is far more powerful than motivation. The beginning of something uncomfortable. The first few days were brutal, not physically, mentally. His mind screamed, "This is extreme. This isn't healthy. Normal people don't live like this." And that's when he realized something dangerous. Normal people don't get uncommon results. Most people think discipline fails because they don't try hard enough. That's wrong. Discipline fails because time is still negotiable. You tell yourself, "I'll do it in the morning." Then morning comes and you think, "Maybe after breakfast." Then after breakfast, "Tonight will be better." Nothing is wrong with your intention. Everything is wrong with your flexibility, because flexibility gives your brain room to escape. Zen discipline removes that escape completely. Why your brain hates open time. Your brain is not designed for open-ended decisions. Every time you ask, "When should I do this?" you create friction. That friction drains mental energy before the action even begins. Neuroscientists call this decision fatigue, but Zen monks understood it centuries before it had a name. They realized something simple. If time is fixed, the mind stops arguing. The bell that ends debate. In traditional Zen monasteries, there is no scheduled discussion. There is a bell. It rings at the same time, every day, no exceptions. The bell does not ask how you feel. It does not care if you slept well. It does not negotiate. When the bell rings, movement happens. Not thought, not emotion, movement. This is the difference between modern discipline and ancient discipline. Modern discipline asks, "Am I ready?" Zen discipline says, "It is time." Why fixed hours are so powerful. Most people assume fixed schedules are about optimization, productivity, efficiency, better performance. That's not why they work. Fixed hours work because they remove variables. When time is fixed, your brain cannot delay, Your brain cannot bargain. Your brain cannot reschedule. There is no later. There is only now. And your brain hates arguing with constants. Elias learns the hard way. After declaring his identity, Elias still struggled, not because he lacked commitment, but because his schedule was vague. Some days he practiced in the morning, other days at night, sometimes whenever he felt ready, and every variation reopened the door to resistance. So he made a terrifying decision. He chose a non-negotiable hour, 5 a.m. Not because he loved mornings, not because it was ideal, because the world was silent. No messages, no emails, no excuses. Why early hours work, and it's not what you think. People romanticize early mornings, sunrises, calmness, productivity. That's not the real advantage. The real advantage is elimination. At 5 a.m., nobody needs you. Nothing is happening. No one can interrupt you. You are alone with your commitment. And that isolation is powerful, not because it feels good, because it leaves you no escape route. The first week, pure resistance. The first few days were brutal. His body fought him. His mind screamed, "This is unhealthy. 1 hour won't matter. You can rest today." But something strange happened. The arguments felt weaker, not because he was stronger, because the time was no longer up for debate. What happens when time stops moving? By the second week, Elias noticed something disturbing. He started waking up before the alarm. Not motivated, not excited, prepared. His body had adapted, because bodies love patterns. Minds resist patterns. Bodies crave them. And once the body learns the rhythm, it starts pulling you forward. The moment discipline becomes automatic. One morning, the alarm rang, and Elias was already standing. No thought, no hesitation, just motion. This is the moment people misunderstand. They think discipline means forcing yourself forever. It doesn't. It means forcing yourself until force is no longer required. The trap most people fall into. But then Elias made a mistake. His time was fixed, but his actions weren't. Some days meditation, other days reading, sometimes exercise, sometimes nothing specific. His brain found a new negotiating point. If it can't argue about when, it will argue about what. This is how discipline quietly dies again. Why variety is dangerous early on. Modern advice says, mix it up to stay engaged. Zen discipline says variety is where consistency goes to die. Every change introduces micro-decisions. Which exercise? How long? Which book? Which intensity? Each decision is a crack, and cracks let old habits seep back in. The Zen concept of form. Zen masters teach kata, fixed forms. Same posture, same movement, same order. Not for creativity, for surrender. Because when the form is fixed, the ego has nowhere to hide. Elias finally understood. He didn't need freedom. He needed structure so rigid it scared him. Locking the practice. He designed a sequence. 10 minutes meditation, 10 minutes reading, 20 push-ups. Same order, same time, same duration. Every day. No adjustments, no listening to his body, just execution. His friends said he was becoming robotic, and they were right. And that's exactly what saved him. Why people fear this level of discipline. Robots don't negotiate. Robots don't debate. Robots don't feel inspired. They execute. And humans fear becoming that consistent, because consistency exposes excuses. The internal war begins. By week 3, his mind went on full attack. This is extreme. You'll burn out. You're losing balance. But something else was happening. The voice was getting quieter, because repetition is louder than thought.